A sewage spill in Playas de Tijuana, just south of the border with Mexico, reached Imperial Beach weeks ago, but residents only found out about it recently. The 31 million gallon spill has yet to be contained. Joining me now to discuss the implication of the spill is Ben McHugh. He's Conservation Director for Wild Coast. So what caused the sewage spill, Ben?
So there was a break in a sewage pipe in Playas de Tijuana, and that break really wasn't discovered by authorities for quite some time.
How could it not have been discovered?
Well, residents obviously knew what was going on, and they could see the sewage ending up directly on their beach and into the ocean. Their calls to authorities weren't responded to for a couple of weeks at least, and it kind of fell during a time when there were holidays in Mexico, and I think a lot of people were on vacation.
Interesting. So what kind of impact has the spill had on San Diego?
On San Diego, that's still being determined. But the biggest problem is the lack of notification in terms of the sewage spill, where authorities, federal, state, local authorities, the lifeguards, didn't know that there was a sewage spill in Tijuana that was less than 2 miles from Imperial Beach and that could infect water quality and ocean users.
So what you're talking about is there's a communication gap between what's going on in Tijuana and what's going on in San Diego with the authorities.
That is the real issue. Sewage spills and, from the Tijuana River, beach closures is really nothing new for our border beaches.
Sure.
But the fact that there was no public notification, that is a big deal that needs to be addressed.
Has it not been addressed at all? I mean, is there any improvement or any change you expect?
We do expect some change. There was a good meeting actually last night of the International Boundary and Water Commission, where we actually discussed a new treaty agreement, a new minute with the treaty between the U.S. and Mexico that would talk about the necessary communication in order to protect public health from shared environmental challenges.
Has this never happened before, talks of this sort, talking about repairing communication as well as the sewer pipe?
It has happened many times before, but the fact that it really came down to an event like this, it's clear that there was a break in communication. And so we need to go back and revisit that communication and between the authorities and beyond the authorities, what are, communication between local nonprofits, community groups is also critically important.
When do you think that's all going to happen?
Well, we're working on it right now. There's actually a meeting today in Tijuana with the Comité de Playas Limpias, or the Committee of Clean Beaches, where they will be discussing exactly how local groups, residents, can communicate more effectively with authorities.
Okay, but we are talking about a broken sewer pipe. So are we not concerned about improving the infrastructure of the sewage treatment on both sides of the border?
That's a critical concern, too. And we know that Tijuana does lack significant infrastructure for sewage collection and treatment. That's really nothing new, and they're working to improve that right now. And actually, the response of the municipal authorities to this spill was incredible. The amount of heavy machinery, the quality of piping they just put in, and the amount of people and crews they had working on it. But just the fact that there was a significant delay and the public notification, that's really the crux of the issue.
So the first part is kind of encouraging. And what is the role of Wild Coast in all this?
We're kind of trying to work as a bridge in between authorities on both sides of the border. And we're also trying to create a successful network of community groups and nonprofits on both sides of the border in San Diego and in Tijuana, so we can really strengthen communication between the groups, and potentially nonprofit groups like Wild Coast and groups in Tijuana can serve as the watchdogs of these border issues.
Just briefly, Ben, when do you expect the pipe to be repaired?
It should be repaired today.
Oh.
And that's what all the authorities are saying. The public health authorities took samples, water quality samples, in Tijuana on Wednesday. Those came back yesterday, and they in fact found that 5 out of 6 samples exceeded health standards.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Ben McHugh.
My pleasure. Thank you.